Hi, so we're going to talk about assignments 2 and 3. But first, I should just finish off. I was interrupted or got shortchanged in time, and should say that if you are calling and chasing people up, the last thing you can offer, and you hear the bad news, is they should ask you, the HR department should ask if they can keep your records um, on file, and of course you should leave them that if you want a job with them. But also they may, or you can ask and say, is it likely that they'll be recruiting again? And they can tell you things like, oh, well, we always recruit uh, every 6 months or every 3 months or something, in which case just note it down. Say thank you very much. That's all you can do. Okay, so a thing that is very good for your morale is to apply in batches and follow things up. And then you've got a sense of achievement in your job hunting day. Now let's talk about assignments 2 and 3. Um, and assignments 2 and 3 are going to take you through one whole revolution of the job seeking cycle. So you will apply for a job. So you'll be offered 6 jobs to choose from. You've got to pick one of those 6. So just try and get one that's somewhere near a job that you might like. And then you've got to produce your CV and LinkedIn profile, common for all jobs that you might want. And then your unique one-page cover letter for that job. And also you produce something that we call the Employer Awareness Report, which is your information about that firm. So if you're going to an interview, you definitely want to know something about the firm. And this is what we're asking to do. This is not something that you ever submit as part of a real job application, but you should be doing it because you need to arm yourself so that your side of the table, you've got some facts, some figures about the firm, and you actually have learned something about this firm. So we want to see what it is that you've got. Now, we're not going to assess those, but we just want to see them. So you've got to have done them by week 8. And then you get an interview in week 8 or 9 or 10. And then the bulk of the course should be done by then. For assignment 3, after your interview, assignment 3 is just a written one. It counts for 60% of the whole course. And we say, well, can you resubmit items 1, 2, and 3 from above and make no changes, right? Now, despite the fact that you've been to the interview and you may have thought, gosh, I wish I'd put that on my CV, or I wish I'd said that in the cover letter, or I wish I'd done more work on the employer awareness report, no matter. You can't change it, but you can still gain points from it because we ask you to reflect. So put those things in your reflection. Say, yes, I wish I'd put in this, that, or the other. And you get extra marks in the reflection for honesty and for knowing your own shortcomings and for realizing them as a result of doing that. Okay. So, the best advice there is to be honest. So we ask for a reflection on how the interview went, how the whole module has gone as well, and integrate, all of your experiences in life and university as well into that. But there's quite a tight word count on that. And you've then got to do a skills matrix and a personal development plan. And that's for you in 2020. Our advice is be honest, be objective, and make your plan smart. And if you haven't come across the phrase smart before, it's time to look that up and see what it means. There's quite a lot of advice given to you on doing those things, skills matrix and personal development plans. So that's what assignments 2 and 3 are. They take you through a whole reflection of going for a job interview. Obviously, we can't give you a job, but you've gone through the whole process and as far as you can. So everyone does get a job interview. Okay, now the first part for assignment 2, you've got to have done by week 8, but the work needs to be done in week 6 and 7. You actually got to submit it on Monday of week 8. So that's quite tight. You've really got to work. So you're going to be working hard on assignment 1 and then don't stop. You've got to do assignment 2 and get that done. But what that means is when you come to assignment 3, most of the stuff is done. And you're constrained to only 600 words on your reflection and personal development plan. And that should be quite a good thing. Be honest about yourself and so on. Because this time, in assignment 2, we are interviewing and role-playing, being the opposite side of the interviewing table to you. Here in assignment 3, we're standing over your shoulder or beside you and trying to coach you and help you. So be honest about things that didn't go well. So that's assignments 2 and 3. In conclusion, what have we covered this week? Well, we learned some core concepts about the recruitment process, what the crucial parts are, how the main stages all fit together. You've learned how to write a top quality CV and a cover letter. You know how to formulate a strategy to fight the numbers game, to get several simultaneous job offers, and to improve your resilience and morale. That's the process of applying in batches, batching your stuff up and doing 20 or 30 at a time in a week. Very easy to explain, just hard to do. Yeah, that's what strategy is. Strategies are often the easy part. The analytic part is easy. It's doing them that's the hard part. And hopefully you've started to understand what you've got to do in assignments 2 and 3. So next week's lecture is going to be on assignment 1. So it's going to be talking about how to give presentations in general, how to give business presentations, and then there'll be some guidance on the subject matter of the brief. So there's a certain amount written out in the brief. You've got an Excel spreadsheet, and we will help you to understand those if you're having difficulties with it, and bring the whole subject to life. And then I imagine that everyone wants to come to the classes, because you can ask questions in your class, your set of 25 or whatever, but once you've all asked questions, exhausted it, you might want to hear the answers from other people's questions too. Then you can break out into 5 or 6 breakout rooms and just have an ordinary group meeting, which we don't need to be part of. You can do that, but then if you have a question arising from that, you can pop back in and ask your tutor a question and get clarification on that. So that's what will happen next week. Homework, well, most of your efforts next week will be going on with your group in assignment 1, but don't forget you still need a good CV, and you don't just need it for this module's assignment 2 or 3, you need it in real life. So my advice to you is, after the classes on Friday afternoon, spend the time while it's all fresh in your mind refining and completing your CV and your LinkedIn profile, because you need your CV and you will need it in week 8, and it's much better if you spend your time after the assignment is done focusing on your cover letter and your employer awareness report that will be needed for assignment 2, and the CV is a done deal. Okay, and then I suggest that you meet up on Saturday morning. Well, that's my suggestion for you. Of course, you're completely free as a group to do what you want to do. The brief will have been released early on Saturday morning, and so you can all get down, start to read it, and then put your heads together and say, well, what do you make of it? And I'm sure your reactions will be something like, what a lovely brief. Isn't that easy? Okay, so no, but it's a challenge, but it's an interesting challenge, and I hope you'll find it. And remember that that's the kind of thing that they often give you in businesses, just to see how you're getting on, and so on. And usually there isn't enough time. Yeah, that's the sort of kind of thing that happens. So just give it your best. But the main marks, as you can see from the module handbook, go for how you handle the thing as a group overall. Okay, so that's the homework. Thanks very much indeed. Let's try and